Like, just
Yeah.
catch us up on, the past 4 years, 2020,
Okay.
2020
Yeah.
pandemic. Where are you at as far as your career? And just talk about,
Good
what
question.
inspired you to move
I
forward.
really like this interview. You on it, bro. I like this interview.
I
So 2020, I start with the year of the pandemic. All right. So my business associate and now partner, his name is Antonio Velaz. We known each other for years, but we didn't start working together as partners officially until around that time. I knew him because, we collaborated on some things in the past, just on marketing consulting and things like that. And he was working with like I Love New York, who's a reality star from Flavor Love in those days, and then he went on to work with like Black China as well as Maya, and he also went on to work with a female rapper named Summer Bunny, who kind of blazed the internet because of her lifestyle with some celebrities, let's just say. But she actually can rap, and she's from Dallas, and he wanted to manage her, and he wanted me involved on the music. So I was like, okay, I got you. But while that was happening, his son was buzzing. You know what I'm saying? And leaking music on the internet. You know how a lot of these young cats they just do their own thing, making music and then putting it online and getting streams and follows and stuff like that. And his son's artist name is Little Zell. So long story short, he was building his own little following on the internet, and my partner Antonio drew attention to it. He's like, "Yo, my son is actually picking up some steam. Help me, with the marketing." Da da da. Da. So I was helping him to e-blast and promote it on social media. And then there's one song which his son had some of his own people within his network help push, and get it more recognized. A song called "Let Me Know." The song was kind of like a dance EDM dance record with like street singing style. You know what I mean? And this is before Drake did that whole album with that sound. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about 2020. And the record was doing so well, it charted on Billboard. It started getting mad streams on TikTok, mad streams on Spotify, to the point that record companies came and calling. So my partner and I was just like, oh, okay. We got calls from Def Jam, Columbia, Universal Republic, 300. And as we were filtering through all these inquiries and having meetings and checking out contract offers, we settled at 300. And around the springtime of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, when New York shut down, my partner and I, Antonio, got him signed to between 6 and 7 figure deal. I can't remember the exact numbers, to 300. So the single did well. It's still making money for 300 to this day, And he got signed, and unfortunately, the business wasn't handled the right way, in my opinion, because I was trying to structure with my partner Antonio to have his son sign to his own company. Like how you come into the business as your own brand already, as opposed to signing directly to a label.
Right.
So if I say, let's set up an LLC, let's set it up as partners, and then we do your deal, but we control the deal and the budget and all the decisions through our company, not just the individuals. You dig
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So long story short, it didn't work out that way because people weren't listening to that. My partner and I, his son is young and impressionable, and he's seen all this money being thrown at him, and he's getting a little more famous. The decision making was not all there, in my opinion. He may say otherwise if he was being interviewed with his circle, but I can see it for what it was because I'm older and I'm more experienced. And he put out a few records. They spent money over at 300 on songs featuring like Coil Ray before she blew up,
Mm.
Tiger, a few other records. You can Google them; they're all on the internet. Little Zell, these songs, they did okay numbers, but it didn't stick. It didn't stick to the point where you would know about it. You dig
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and now mind you, he's already on a major label, and there's still some people who don't know who he is.
Right.
And I felt like that was the one thing that was missing is him really tapping into the culture on a certain level, with what he does as an artist. It goes to how the younger generation there's a disconnect sometimes. They look at people who come in the game from when I came in it like we're old school. We don't know what we're doing, but
Right.
it depends on who you're dealing with. Not everybody's the same. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So that was what happened in 2020, and my partner and I decided to shift gears after we got his son signed, and he didn't really really do what he should have been doing, or the situation didn't benefit us the way we thought it would. And we decided to just communicate directly with 300, and we formed a distribution partnership with them right when they initiated Sparta Distribution, which is the distribution arm for independent artists over 300. It's just still there to this day. So long story short, we set up a distribution deal. And then we just put out our own records ourselves and marketed it ourselves. I put out a record with an artist, one of my OG homies from Michigan. His name is Dre Banks. Featured him on a song with Trina. You
Mm,
know, shot the video in Miami, put it out. It did do some good numbers. Then we put out like one or two other singles after that. And then we was like, okay, we know what we're capable of independently. Now we want to put ourselves in a space where we can once again have a major company invest in us. So that's the goal now. So instead of focusing too much on putting out more music with the label situation, I went back to just focusing on my producing career. Whereas I did AZ's situation, I actually consulted him to go to 300. You know what I mean? He may not want to take credit, give me credit for that, but I already know what it is. You know what I mean? That's another story. But yeah, so he's currently distributed by Sparta, you know what I mean, starting with the Do or Die 2 album, and I produced two songs on there, one of them featuring Rick Ross, you know what I mean? And that's the last time we worked together on an album. But now he put out an album recently with Buck Wild, that's pretty dope.
mm,
You know what I mean? So shout out to Buck Wild, that's my guy. Shout out to AZ, you know, still my guy. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But now I just been doing a lot of production collaborations and discovering new talent for the sake of either pushing them forward and showing what I can do as a producer slash independent executive, or developing artists that I can put out on my label. You know what I mean? Because I'm still under 300. I'm just picking and choosing what to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but that's what I've been doing the last couple of years. So yeah, I did the last Do or Die 2 album. I did some music for Moni Love, female rap legend. A business associate of mine, he did a deal with a company called Who Mag, which is owned by Rob Schwartz,
Hmm.
and they distributed by Sony Orchard. And me and Moni, we built a relationship from years ago, from the '90s. In the early 2000s, I had did a single with her independently that was released by Universal Europe, and it was called "Slice of the Pie," and it went gold in Europe. It wasn't released in the States. And ever since then, we've always maintained a working relationship and a friendship. So she, around the pandemic, she wanted to put out new music, but then the pandemic shut things down, so she pushed it back to like 2021. So I did a record with her featuring Sky Zoo. It's called Divine. It's a song and video out. It's pretty dope. And then Moni, who is always in tune with new talent, just like I am, she was watching this artist that's up and coming from Ghana named Nana Fofi. She's like a singer songwriter. She'll remind you vocally of a song or an artist like Marsha Ambrosius. Amazing talent. Um, so Moni was like, "Yo, I want to do a record with her. Let's get in touch with her." So we did get in touch with her, worked out all the business, and we did a song and we shot a video called "One People." And the interesting thing about this song with Moni is that she changed her whole approach as far as the vocals. She did more of like a chatting reggae singing style. So it's like more of a kind of like a cultural urban crossover type of record. You know what I mean? And not I featured on it, but because of schedule conflicts and coming from overseas, because she's in I think she's in Amsterdam or something like that where she lives. She didn't get to fly in to shoot the video. We shot the video in Miami, so we used the power of technology to get some content, and you see her in the video. But yo, those are the last couple of records that commercially released by me that people have heard and seen.
Very
But I
dope.
also been developing music under my DJ brand. I started DJing again in the last couple of years, and I collaborate with a DJ named DJ Mr. Effects out of Queens.
Mm,
Happens to be Cutmaster C's cousin. If you know who Cutmaster C is,
yep.
he's a legendary Queens mixtape DJ. You know what I'm saying? So Effects is Cut's older cousin and his mentor, and an excellent DJ that a lot of people should know about.
Right.
So he and I partnered up to form Untouchable DJs, and I actually did a whole mixtape album that I put out end of last year, and it features unreleased music by Royal Flush, featured Nori, AZ, a few other people. Different artists from different markets. It's just me showing what I can do independently. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we call it executive decision. So we're gonna do a volume 2 that we're gonna put out in the spring, of this year.
Very dope.
So I'm excited about that. But just on the production front, I'm working with a new group out of the Bronx named 5J Orion. They're like just the new rap duo from New York. That's all I'm gonna say right now. You're
Right.
gonna hear some records soon though, and they're gonna be having some collaborations with some known artists that you'd be surprised that they got because they knew. But see who's behind them, right?
Right.
So yeah, and then I may be doing some work with 36 Mafia.
Mm.
Shout out to Tone Trump. I don't know if you know Tone Trump out of Philly.
Yep.
He's an artist that I've known for years. We collaborated on some coast to coast mixtapes songs years ago,
Right.
and we were supposed to do some music together. And then I recently was introduced to Cujo from Goody Mob,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of Goody Mob. I never worked with any of them. You know what I mean? So we might be doing some collaborations real soon. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but we've been dialoguing. I've been sharing some music ideas that he likes, so we're gonna figure it out.
Very, very dope. A lot of good stuff to look
Yeah,
forward to
I was
for
trying to answer the question and not be
no,
too
no,
long.
that's all good. With so many classics under your belt, what do you consider the greatest achievement for you musically?
Wow. Musically, I feel like honestly, I feel like my greatest musical achievements is yet to happen.
Mm.
I'm thankful for what I've accomplished. I'm thankful for the history I've made within the culture. Some of the highlights of my entire career, I would definitely say, is the essence with AZ and Nas. I'm one of the few producers who's worked with both AZ and Nas on a record. There's only like maybe 5 producers who's ever did that. LES, DR Period, maybe Buck Wild, if I'm not mistaken, and myself. Can you think of any other producers? Or maybe I'm wrong. Is there anyone else?
That's about right.
Yeah, because you got Life's a Bitch, LES. You got More Money, More Murder. That's DR Period.
With Flyest Gangsters.
Flyers Gangsters, LES. And I did the Essence.
Yep.
How many people say that? You
Right.
know, and you get a Grammy nomination with those two greats. Like you can't tell me nothing, bro.
Right.
I
That's
don't care how rich I get.
right.
Part of the history of some of the greatest rap artists ever, bro.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Exactly.
That goes back not just AZ and Nas. I herald Tech and Steel for their contributions. I herald Buckshot for his contributions. You know, um, you know, Farrell Monch, an amazing talent that I had the opportunity to work with. You know what I mean? So, and of course, my alma mater, the Beat Mine, is just being a part of that history with Duck Down to Boot Camp. I'm never gonna put it, like downplay what we accomplished. You know what I mean? Whether it was, the highest levels of success that it could have been or should have been for that time. I mean, we were competing with everybody. We were competing with Bad Boy and Biggie and Wu Tang and all that. We was holding our own, putting out dope music. You know what I mean? So you can't disrespect that.
Right.
And look what you win. You represent right now. Rest in peace, Sean P. you
Absolutely.
know?
Sean P.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, one last question for these up and coming producers. So much
Yeah.
has changed throughout the years, technically, financially.
Oh
What
man.
advice? What advice would you give somebody coming into the business, 2024?
I would say persistence overrules resistance. I always say that, but the reason why I say that is because the industry is so saturated, and the digital age has forced specifically music producers to have a harder time, a bigger challenge in monetizing their work, because we got so many people who are just accessing free music online, getting ideas and going to the studio. They don't even call the producers. Don't want to buy the beats, and if they do, they're giving you like $50, $100. It's a joke.
Right.
I've never compromised the worth of my work. I'd rather not work than to just give a beat away for like $50 because I'm starving, or give a beat away, but for free if it's not deserving of that. I will work for free. Don't get it twisted. I would do it if it's an artist I believe in that I'm developing and I'm trying to create a situation for them that's going to benefit us both.
Right.
That is an investment. That's different. But just a random who knows who I am and is a fan or wants to work with me, and then they hit me online like, "Yo, I want to work with you. I'm doing an EP. Can I get a beat?" I'm not doing that for free. All right, what's your budget? And if you expect me to collaborate with you for free, I got to get to know you and see what you're really trying to do and how it's going to be benefit me in the long term. Like, are we going to build a working relationship, maybe a part of my company or a partnership where I could see that happening? I forget to neglect mentioning that around the 2018, 2019 timeframe, I did a collaborative project called Crossroads, spelled with an X. And I did it with an artist from Detroit who's affiliated with Eminem. So during that time period, that was like one of the things I was concentrating on. And it goes back to what we were just talking about as far as collaborating with new artists. Like he approached me to just buy some beats. And then I got to know him, and I got to know his manager, who happened to be the person that was behind the Motor Love stuff
Mm.
years later. And we built a working relationship to the point where I was like, let's do a whole project together, because he was that talented to me. And we did it under the name Crossroads. And the concept was me coming from Queens, him coming from Detroit, and us coming together. It's like a crossroads. Plus, the other side of the description was me feeling like I was at a crossroads in my career. You know what I mean? In terms of what I've done before and where I'm going.
Right.
So I just felt it made sense. And we did like two projects, one called X Amount and another one called The Road Less Traveled. So it's all the streaming platforms. You can check it out. Really dope music. Like, I'm proud of the music we did. It's just unfortunate that it lacked the marketing accessibility that it deserved
Mm.
because we didn't have big budgets. We had a distribution, and we had a little bit of a network where we could get Sirius XM support and certain things and some blogs, but that was the extent of it.
Right.
But I do like the fact that I was able to take him on the road, and he met Large Professor. We toured Europe together,
Wow.
and that was an amazing experience. I still got the footage.
Right.
Amazing experience. And unfortunately, the artist that I worked with, he has a lot of mental issues, and he had a situation where it landed him in jail in the past year.
Mm.
So, I don't know what was going to happen of him because we were supposed to put out another project this year, but him being incarcerated under the circumstances, which I rather not get into in this interview,
Right.
it may hinder him from being available. Let's just say.
Understood.
But yeah, he was very talented. Super MC is his name. I'm sure if you Google him, you'll see what I'm saying and why
Right.
he's not available.
Right.
Um, but yeah, man, I'm just excited to be a part of a lot of up and coming talent, and I'm excited to be able to, showcase what I can do as a worker producer, as an independent executive. I also want to put out an independent vinyl curated vinyl instrumental album.
Mm.
Shout out to Jay Dilla, the late Jay Dilla. Donuts was such an inspiration for me.
Right.
I put out a project called Throwback City back in 2007. It was only digital though,
Mm.
and I just put it out as a teaser. It was all instrumentals, stuff I had in my catalog that I never sold or did nothing with back then, and it was fun to do. So I want to come back to that. This one, I'm gonna do a little bit more of a concentrated concept to the project, and I'm
Right.
gonna put it out on vinyl, try to distribute it in like Europe and Japan and all that. Just
Yeah,
doing stuff to self-contained, man.
absolutely. Pushing,
Can't wait. Can't wait on the game.
without
Give you
pushing the culture forward.
That's
Appreciate-
all you can do, man.
Well,
That's all
baby
you.
Paul, I appreciate this history lesson, giving the fans, a reminder of why you are who you are and your endurance in the game.
Thank you.
Before we get out of here, can you shout out your social media and where we can keep up
Of
with you
course.
in the future?
Yes, sir. My Instagram is baby Paul BPZ, all one word, because BPZ is the reinvention, the 2000 reinvention inspired by the great E40. So baby Paul BPZY, all one word on Instagram. I'm not really on too many other socials. My TikTok account is like nil. Even though everybody's on TikTok and winning on TikTok, I just don't capitalize on it like I could or should. So yeah, Instagram is mainly how you find me on social media. Um, oh, of course, I have my DJ brand, which DJ Mr. Effects. So it's official underscore Untouchables DJs, Untouchables with an S DJs. That's the other Instagram page for like just the DJ agenda. And my company XMG with my partner Antonio Velaz, we have an Instagram page. We just building it though. It's called XMG HQ, like headquarters. XMG, X as in Xavier, Mary, Gold, headquarters. XMG HQ. So you can follow us up on there and just follow our future adventures as a label and as business partners because we do a little bit of everything. We do music production, we do marketing consulting, we do brand management, artist management. You know, I tell you, look out for artists like Summer Bunny. She's back. She's wreaking havoc on the internet already, and we just started to put more music out on her. And an artist from Paris named Sam City, spelled XMSIDY. I have a single that I put together called Switch. Really dope. It's like a hmm, it could compete with the weekend. That's the
Mm,
best way I could describe it.
right.
It could compete with the weekend. It's really dope.
So
And look out for the Untouchables DJ's next album, Executive Decision.
very, very dope. Any last words for the supporters who've been rocking with Baby Paul since then?
Yo, thank you for the love and support. Thank you for the people who hit me up on the internet every year to celebrate certain albums I've worked on, like all the boot camp albums, Smith and Wesson's The Shining, Helter Skelter's Nocturnal, Nas Stillmatic, AZ Asiatic. Of course, now Do or Die 2. Next couple years, I'm sure they're gonna be celebrating the anniversary of that. That was a dope album. You know what I'm saying?
No
But
doubt.
much more to come, man. Stay tuned.
Absolutely. That is Baby Paul. I'm the journalist and said, thank you so much.
Good, man. Kicking it with the homie, man. Appreciate you, my brother.
No doubt. Let's keep in touch.
Absolutely, man. And once again, rest in peace, Sean P. I love the gear. Shout out to
Appreciate
Duck
it.
Down. All
Absolutely.
right.
See you again soon.
Yes, sir.